Well, this is an extraordinary story this evening. It's not as big a shock as it might be in a...
The final whistle echoed across Anfield like a thunderclap, and in an instant, the stadium was swallowed by a tidal wave of sound. Red smoke flared into the sky, flags snapped in the breeze, and a chorus of voices, raw, jubilant, unrestrained, sang out into the golden evening. Liverpool were champions of England once again. On the touchline, players embraced, some falling to their knees in disbelief, others racing towards the Kop, arms wide open. Xabi Alonso, the architect of the season's triumph, stood with his arms raised, his face wet with emotion. Coaches, staff, stewards, even those who had seen everything the game had to offer, were swept away by the sheer power of the moment. High in the director's box, John W. Henry stood motionless. While those around him clapped and roared, he remained rooted to the spot, hands gripped tightly on the railing before him. His eyes, usually sharp and guarded, shimmered with something unfamiliar, awe, perhaps, or the slow, overwhelming tide of a dream realized after years of toil and doubt. He did not smile. He did not cheer. He simply watched. The pitch below was chaos, glorious, beautiful chaos. Players held the Premier League trophy aloft, their faces lit by fireworks exploding in the dusk. Jordan Henderson, back for the ceremony, passed the trophy into the eager hands of Virgil van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold, the club's beating hearts. Every corner of Anfield throbbed with life. And still John W. Henry stood in silence, as if trying to etch every detail into his memory. The years unfurled behind his eyes, the bitter losses, the near misses, the long nights of negotiation and planning. The storms weathered. The triumphs savored. The soul of Liverpool, impossible to contain in any business plan or blueprint, now tangible before him, woven into the smoke and the songs and the sky. At last, slowly, Henry raised his hands and brought them together in a quiet, measured applause. It was not for himself. It was for them, for the players, for the manager, for the city that had demanded greatness and now cradled it in their hands. Around him, the owners, the executives, the guests cheered and embraced. But Henry simply nodded, a small, solemn gesture of respect, not only to the team he had helped build, but to the spirit he could never claim to own. The night stretched on. Anfield throbbed with song. The parade down the city streets had already begun to take shape in the minds of the faithful. In the shadows of the director's box, John W. Henry turned away from the scene at last, his face unreadable but his heart, perhaps for the first time in years, full. He had come seeking success. Tonight, he had found something greater.